Hi, my name is Campbell, Lovett, Conference Minister with the Michigan Conference of the United Church of Christ, bringing you another in our series of Faith for Thought. Recently, I had the opportunity to attend the Act to End Racism rally on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. This was a significant event of the National Council of Churches, 38 communions gathering to deal with what has been an affliction to American society for centuries, the scourge of racism. The acronym ACT stands for Awaken, Confront, and Transform. At this event, we were invited to awaken ourselves to the truth that racism is ever present, that it's deeply rooted in American culture, and it's profoundly damaging to our communities. Speaker after speaker called us to awaken to racism and to seek ways to work together to end it. The second letter of the acronym, confront. Confront racism, to speak truth to ourselves, our communities and institutions, and stand against injustice. I was so moved by the heads of many of these National Council of Churches, their communions, who confessed their churches, their denominations, complicity to racism over the years. How in our churches, not only have we been complicit, but we've been active with racist tendencies and practices that by our inaction to confront racism, we have allowed it to continue. And finally, we were invited to transform the hearts, minds, and behaviors of people and structures that shape society, to try to make our culture less tolerant of racism, and in fact, to act to end racism. I want to invite our United Church of Christ congregations in Michigan to do their part, act to end racism. We have 3 very good resources at our disposal that can help us with our work to act to end racism. The first is this book from the National Council of Churches, United Against Racism, Churches for Change. These are very helpful essays and resources that your church can use for a book study and for conversation. The second is the, I hope by now, familiar White Privilege Let's Talk curriculum. It's a resource for transformational dialogue, and it's available at ucc.org for you to read racial autobiographies and see resources for leading multiple sessions of adult education in your congregation. And finally, the very new Sacred Conversations to End Racism. It's multiple phases, great resources for conversation, for education, for dialogue within our churches and our communities. You know, for years we had the Sacred Conversations on Race material starting 10, 12 years ago. This resource, however, is more specific, more focused. Sacred Conversations to End Racism. In this season of continued attention to police violence against unarmed black men, to racial inequities in education and in jobs, and in the rise of white nationalism, it's more important than ever that our churches get involved in these sacred conversations and in our efforts to act to end racism. Awaken, confront, transform. Awaken, confront, transform. Act to end racism. It's our call for this time. And thank you for joining me in this Faith for Thought.